Alright guys, what's going on? I'm a little bit sleepy, but I'm going to do this video anyways. I really just wanted to talk about some of my favorite nonfiction books. When I was younger, I really only read fiction. I was just reading mostly horror novels, and then I got into detective novels and old pulp books. But as I got older, I just really became fascinated with nonfiction books. I had started out by reading books on writing advice, but I wasn't too big on those because every book on, or well, most of them were like, always do this, but never this, and never this. And then I would read another one, and a different guy would have the reverse take, like, no, everything he told you not to do, you must do. So I just ended up figuring out, you just do what works for you. That's really the only writing advice. But I ended up reading a bunch of biographies and autobiographies and memoirs from writers, filmmakers, and I really dug them. And I started reading philosophy books, and I started reading true crime books, and I don't know, I just really became big on nonfiction. So these days I am mostly reading nonfiction. I kind of, I go back and forth. I'll read, like, I don't know, 5 or 6 nonfiction books in a row, then I'll read a couple fiction books, and I'll just jump back to nonfiction. And for this video, it's not really a top 10. I grabbed a bunch of my favorites. I just stacked them up. I almost just started grabbing, like, every book that I just really enjoyed, and then I was like, wait, this is too many, and I put some back. I think I ended up with 11 books. So this isn't really a ranking. It's not in order. I just kind of set them down randomly, and we're just going to talk about them. This book is awesome. This is William Friedkin's memoir, The Friedkin Connection, and I just love William Friedkin so much. I really don't get sad at celebrity deaths, but this was an exception when Billy Friedkin died, because I was really heartbroken. If there is one person that I could sit down with from all of, like, movie history, you guys, it would have to be William Friedkin. Just for the sake of not making this video like 3 hours long, I won't talk about all my favorite William Friedkin moments, although I really could. He's just got so many, there's just so many stories about all his antics, like how he would have a gun on the set of The Exorcist and would just start setting it off just to mess with everybody, or, oh my god, like the last, scene in The Exorcist, or maybe like second to last scene with Father Dyer, as he's dying and his hands are shaking, and that actor said it was really shaking because William Friedkin, right before that take, I guess they had done a bunch of takes and it wasn't coming out right, and William Friedkin just smacked him and just smacks him really hard across the face and told him to get it right this time, and he's shaking because he's scared of him. And yes, I know that's horrific, but it's still hilarious, okay? He's got a bunch of funny moments, and I just really love this book. I don't really reread books because I've just got so many to read. I've only reread one book ever in my life. There's only one book I've ever read twice. And but this book is definitely one that I actually will read this again at some point. There's just a lot of funny stories in here. I love when, I think it's his first directing job, and I think it's on the Alfred Hitchcock Hour, and I think it was the very final episode of that series is the one that William Friedkin got to direct, and I think everybody told him something along the lines of, well, for the first shot, usually it's something simple, something easy, something to get our just to get it going, and so we come in on time for that day. And then I wish I had it highlighted here somewhere, but William Friedkin says, so after they told me that, I decided the first shot would be the most, like, complex, difficult shot we could do, and oh my god, it's a really funny memoir. I really dug it. So yeah, really miss William Friedkin, a fellow Chicago guy. Next up, I could do a whole video on this one. This is another one that I probably will reread this one. I don't know when, but Making Movies by Sidney Lumet. What a wonderful book. It's just very conversational, and I don't think a lot of people are really this transparent when it comes to what it's actually like being a film director. And he's just got a lot of cool stories to tell, and he talks about collaboration a lot and the way he works with not just the actors, but every department, which is really interesting, at least for me. Because everybody talks about what it's like to work with the actors and anybody that's a filmmaker, but honestly, I liked seeing like all the other stuff. Like I know it might sound a little boring, but it's not. He's got a lot of cool stories too. But I mean, he'll have things in here like if you could see that, there you go, like call sheets and stuff, and just the way being on a set works and how they organize everything. It's just it's a very cool slim book, barely over 200 pages. It looks like 218 pages. Yeah, very slim book. You could probably read it in a couple days. I think it probably took me like a week. But yeah, Making Movies is one of my favorite books. And then let's see. Oh, this is a really good one. Catching the Big Fish. I read this one. When was that? I got sick with the coof years ago, and I was home from work, and I think it was in January, and a few years ago, and I was really sick, and I was like, yeah, I'm dying here. I'm gonna read Catching the Big Fish. And there are some sections in this book that I just come back to all the time, particularly this one. Do I want to read 2 pages for you guys? Probably not, but it's page 35 for those of you that have a copy or buy a copy. And where, well, basically he just talks about Jack Nance holding the character of Henry in Eraserhead, and how there's a scene where Jack Nance is supposed to go through a door, and he goes through it, and it took, I think, a year and a half until they filmed him coming through the other side. And it's just a really interesting 2 pages on not giving up, which, by the way, this is one you could read in a day. I actually did read this one in a day. It's, let's see, it looks like 193 pages, but they're small pages. It's shaped like a square, and some pages, or some chapters are just a page. Like this random one here, if you could see that, you just get like 2 sentences. Yeah, just a really neat little book. Oh yeah, and bonus interviews with Paul McCartney and Ringo Starr. So that's cool. Next, oh boy, this is a fun one. This is Interactivity, written by Narwhal, who's a friend of the channel. He's a comic book artist and writer, and one of the only people I feel I could really talk writing with. There's not many who get it, and Narwhal's just such a good writer, and really anytime I want to talk about writing, I just bother Narwhal. But this book really helped me. Anytime I have a struggle really with writing, I open up this book, and okay, I guess I lied. Earlier I said there's only one book I've reread in my life, and I guess this one does make 2. Let's see. I hate that the pages aren't numbered. I don't know how many pages this book even is, but it's very slim, and Narwhal does include some illustrations, some comic book panels and examples and whatnot in it, and I don't know, it's just a good reminder. Anytime I'm stuck on a book, which is pretty often, I just pull this off my shelf, and I just start just flipping through it. Yeah, I've read this one at least maybe 2 or 3 times actually, now that I think about it. But sometimes I just look for certain sections, or I'll just open to a random page, and I really find what I needed. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, this is a fun one. This is A Father's Story by Lionel Dahmer, Jeffrey Dahmer's father. Let's see. This one, I went through this one really fast, actually. This one's maybe like 250-ish. Yeah, 248 pages. Basically, Lionel Dahmer talks about the things he might have missed as a father of a serial killer, and I don't know, it's just a really interesting, like, just his perspective on it, because, you know, pretty much every true crime book is written by somebody that researched it somebody that goes around maybe conducting interviews, watching the trial footage, whatever. But I really I don't think I know too many books that are written by like the father of a serial killer, and that's really what stuck out about it to me. And it's just very well written and interesting. And I mean, gosh darn it, I don't know. Sometimes when a book is just really good, there's nothing I could say besides say I really liked it and it was good. Let's see, what do we have here? Oh, this is a fun one. Mindhunter. This one's really good. This one, I think I spilled water on it. A couple of these pages are water damaged. It's, let's see, about 400-ish pages. And this is written by John Douglas. I really love the TV show that Netflix did a couple seasons of this. And I'm really pissed, actually, that they didn't do a third one, because it's a really good show. But John Douglas, FBI agent, he just talks about a bunch of cases, and it's just really cool. It's just really well written, and I liked all the stories and the insights, and it's written in a certain time where John Douglas kind of starts a certain division of the FBI about criminal profiling, and I just thought it was cool how they put that all together, and I don't know, it was just interesting. I will say, though, I did read the sequel. It's around here somewhere. The sequel has such a pretentious title. It's called, I think, Journey into Darkness. And the sequel's not as good as this one because it basically just rehashes everything that's in this book. I'd say go with this one. I would stay away from the sequel, but Mindhunter, really cool book. I like that one a lot. That one's like really high up there. We've got, I just read this one, 11 Rings by Phil Jackson. So, when I was a kid, I was really into basketball. I pretty much watched basketball religiously from 2009. I was 12. Maybe through like, well, about 2020. But by 2020, I was watching it so much less. But that was like the last season I really like kept up with it. A few reasons. I've got a lot to do. I really don't have time to sit down and watch like a 2.5 hour sporting event. 2, the Chicago Bulls suck. And, well, most of it's time, really. And I also don't like the style of play at all. I just saw a new rule. I saw it on Facebook where if a player, let's say there's like 2 seconds left in a quarter and they're at half court and they just throw up a shot just to try to beat the buzzer and they miss, it won't count against their stats. And if they make it, it'll count towards their stats. And just things like that, guys. It's just basketball these days is all like they change the rules and they do things and the style of play changes so that it's very offensively focused and nobody plays defense. It's really just they put the players out there just to see who could hit the most 3-pointers. It's not really fun. It's not interesting. And I think my first few years watching basketball was like the last few years. It was like really, really like good and awesome. I think maybe I'd say it started going downhill maybe around 2014-ish, 15-ish. That's really when it started going downhill, and it's just continued from there. But I just, for someone that doesn't really watch basketball anymore, I just have, like I just know a lot about basketball from all those years, because you got to understand, like in 2009, after I got into it, like basketball was my life. We had the NBA TV channel, so I got to watch like reruns of really old games. I got to see documentaries and some movies they would put up, and I would just watch all the games I could. I would watch all the like top 10 plays of the nights. Like I would watch every video that the NBA YouTube channel put out. I collected basketball cards, and I would I don't know, I just learned a lot about the players and like that, like it really consumed my life. And so I feel really nostalgic for it, but I just know I'll never get back into it. At least not at this point in my life, like, because again, I just don't have time, and I also don't like the style of play. But a lot of coaches and players have put out books, and I'm most interested in the books from the coaches, particularly Phil Jackson. This book really, how do I even want to explain it? I think this book would help anybody in any aspect of their life. I think it would help you in your work life, your personal life, anything. The lessons that you learn in this book. I mean, to win 11 rings, Phil Jackson, for those that don't know, he's the only coach ever to have multiple three-peats. The Bulls had a three-peat in 91, 92, 93, and then in 96, 97, 98. So technically, I have seen a Bulls championship in my life, even though I was just a baby. And I'll never see one again. But and then he won with the Lakers. Was it maybe 99, 2000, and 01, I want to say? Something like that. And then he ended up winning a couple more with the Lakers in 08 and 09. And but to win 11 rings, he learned a lot, and it's also a very spiritual book too. He applies so many spiritual lessons into different teachings and how he coaches, and it's interesting how different he works with each player. It's not like a one-size-fits-all kind of approach to coaching, and he really brought out the best in each player. Like, let me put it like this. If you look at the roster of that last Lakers championship, there is like no way on earth they should have won a championship. They had Kobe and they had nobody, but Phil Jackson had them out there hooping, all right? You give any other coach, I guarantee you, there's 30 teams in the NBA. Any of the other 29 coaches at that time, give them that roster, they are not winning a championship. Only Phil Jackson could lead somebody to a championship like that. I just feel like really everybody should read this. I just think it gives a lot of cool lessons, and yeah, that's 11 Rings by Phil Jackson. What else do we have here? This is a fun one. This is Epictetus. I know the cover is actually a little bit boring, and that's why I kind of put off actually buying this book, because it was just a dull cover. But the last few years, I really got into philosophy because of a couple different series I found on YouTube. I want to say it's called The Teaching Company, put out these different courses, these different philosophy teachers, their courses were recorded and then it was put out in part of the series. And there's Michael Segru, I think is how you say his name, and another one, Rick, darn it, what's his name? I'm blanking on his name. Rick Roderick or something like this. And I just have all those in a playlist, and I'll just click on them and I'll just listen, and it's just very fascinating to me, and I like the way specifically those two guys talk about philosophy. And Michael Segru's most popular video is about Marcus Aurelius and Stoicism, and so Epictetus is another of the Stoics. And to be honest, a lot of these philosophy books are hard to read. A lot of people will read like a secondary text, and I found that reading something like that is a lot easier than just going straight into like Hegel, reading Hegel right away. And so some of the philosophy books that I have picked up, I've been a little picky because, you know, secondary sources are cool and these videos explaining them are cool, but I do want to read like the original texts. And so I was looking for things that were easier to read, and Epictetus is one of those. I don't have a whole lot to say about this one other than I really think everybody should read it. I'm not saying I'm a stoic or that I'm perfect and that I don't worry or get anxiety or things of that nature, but I do think that reading this book, it definitely helps. It helps you to deal with things, which brings us to the Meditations of Marcus Aurelius, which this is the book that I've read twice. This is the only book. Well, I said that, and then we found the one earlier where I was like, no wait, I've read this one like 3 times. But this one I've read twice. And I just think this should be required reading. I think both of these should be required reading in school at some point. whether in elementary school or junior high or high school, I don't know, but I think it should be required. I don't know. These are just my two favorite philosophy books of all time. They're just really good. And let's see what else we got here. I don't even remember what else I put in the stack, to be honest with you. Okay, this is a fun one. This is Room to Dream by David Lynch. This one's a pretty interesting approach to a sort of autobiography / biography, because basically it kind of goes through like David Lynch's early life and his childhood, and then it's kind of divided up more or less by the movie he was making it at the time as his life goes on. And it'll have a section where it's everybody else's like recollections at the time. It'll have friends, neighbors, collaborators talking about David Lynch and whatnot and how they remember things. And then after that you get David Lynch's portion of the book where he talks about now his memories, and you might see how somebody remembers things one way and then somebody else remembers it another way, and it was just really neat. So I like that book. And last one for the video, Sonny Boy by Al Pacino. This one I read a year ago, and it was around Christmas time, and my sister and her daughters were in town, and you know, this book is so good, guys. I read this in 2, maybe 3 days. I might have had to save like the last couple chapters for a third day, but my family was in town when I started this book. I was hiding from them so I could finish reading. I started ditching them. You know, they're over. I don't see my sister a whole lot. Maybe 2 times a year, probably. If that, yeah, probably about twice a year, maybe. I'll see my sister and her daughters, and I'm sorry, but like it was just such an interesting book. I just went to my room and I'm like, I'll be back later, and they're wondering where I am, and I'm just reading. But it's just a really good book. I know that's pretty much what I've said about all of these, but I don't know. I'm not a book reviewer, and it's so hard to review a good book because what else do you say besides it's just really good? But I really appreciated this book because you know, it would be easy for somebody like Al Pacino, that's a really famous actor and very successful, to just write a book about how great they are. But I mean, there's stuff everywhere about struggles and challenges, and even after he finds success, there is still struggles and challenges, and I just thought it was a really neat book and one I highly recommend everybody read. So yeah, I'm pretty sure we went through 11 books there. Those are just some of my favorites. So yeah, guys, we'll have some more videos soon. I don't know what about yet, because I'm still trying to figure out what kind of videos I really want to make for this channel. So we'll have something else coming soon. I'm not sure what, but that's all for now, guys. So thank you for watching.